Hello, am I live? Welcome to another episode of Just Jordan Things, Morning Edition. Welcome to day 4. We are going to dive right in to our journal today. Let me go grab it. Oh man, I piled in a bunch. I look, my crochet hooks, a new crochet book, a money book, a house book. All of this is on top of all of my psychology magazines. Okay, here we go. Day 4. Self-kindness. I'm gonna reverse stack everything. I'm just gonna make sure I am streaming really quickly because I had a problem last week that I wasn't actually able to stream from this software. So I just want to make sure I'm live before I dive into anything and no one's watching. Okay, it's working. Perfect. Welcome. Good morning, friends. How are you? I am exhausted and overwhelmed, but also incredibly energized. So it's a very weird combination of like ready to get everything done while also not ready to do anything. I would like to sit on, I'm trying to turn my light down. I would like to sit on my bed and read for the next, I don't know, 7 hours. That seems optimal to me. But no, I have to go to work because it's only Tuesday. Okay. All right, let's dive into our journaling prompt for this morning. Today, self-kindness meditation. Self-kindness means acknowledging your emotional needs and taking care of them. Emotional needs are feelings or conditions that need to be met for us to feel at peace. For example, we all need to feel appreciated, loved, safe, and part of a community. When our emotional needs are not met, we may feel uneasy, dissatisfied, or sad. Our daily intention and what we're journaling about. Can you identify a time when you felt an emotional need was not met? Why is this emotional need important to you? How can you communicate and resolve not having your emotional needs met? And how can this help you? Allow this emotional need to inspire your intention today. When you have your intention, try meditating on this. If you're new to meditation, we can go over some tips and advice if you're interested. So I will let everybody pause there and we can journal together and see if there's anything specific that comes to mind when we talk about a emotional need that we didn't have met. This can be something as small as, let's say someone didn't acknowledge you, or you said hi to them and they didn't recognize you. It can be as big as a significant other or partner disrespecting you. I'm trying to think of an example that I have because it's something that fluctuates on a daily basis. You're never always going to get all of your needs met, which is why it's so important to be able to advocate for them and understand that you need them, because they're never going to be a constant. There's always going to be things to adapt and change and do better and get more people to understand how your emotional needs can be met. So let's take a couple minutes, let's journal on that, and we'll come back when we are fully entrenched in what our emotional needs are. And I'll try to share with you when I come up with mine what it is so that you can have an example if you're unaware of what your emotional need is. What's the date today? 6/13. I have my example. My example, if you're still writing, please continue to write. But my example for this of my emotional needs not being met and how I communicated them, this is with Grant. So we all know and love Grant. He is a wonderful person. But as with any relationship goes, communication is the most difficult part. So I have an inherent need for feeling connected, feeling that we are discussing emotional things. And as a guy, he likes to go to that default of, well, guys don't communicate that way. Guys don't have emotional needs the same way. And a lot of that is just repressed societal emotional needs and telling guys, oh, they're not as emotional as women, or he likes to operate on a baseline of like here, whereas we understand as women emotions are dynamic. They go up and down. It's not one stagnant line. It can't be. So I like to have emotional connection, and I ask him a lot, can we hang out? And my definition of hanging out and his definition of hanging out are two different things. But I need that deep, emotional, intimate bond of communicating things, talking about your day, how did things go? But he hates that. That's draining for him. So the way I communicate it is when I recognize that I am starting to feel sad from it, or starting to feel like there's distance between us, I bring it up and I say, can we have some sort of emotional connectivity activity? This can be anything from turning the TV off and turning the phones off. Defining what it means to have my emotional need met is very important. So no distractions. We're focused wholly on each other. That is one of the main points of like communicating your needs to someone else, understanding what it means on the interim to have that thing defined. So then moving forward with that, how do I know once my emotional need is met? Because a lot of the times he can't sit there for an hour, 2 hours and talk about my emotional needs the way I would like. I can sit there all day and talk, but that's not him. So I have to be cognizant of how I fill up my cup. And a lot of the times someone else can't fill up your cup. You have to know what filling up your cup means. So how this shows up with me and my boyfriend is this line between, okay, remembering and recognizing where this emotional need comes from for me, and it's that feeling of abandonment, feeling like he doesn't care about me, feeling like he's going to forget about me, or doesn't remember that I have this emotional need, so I have to keep reminding him. So I have to remember the instances of things that he does do for me and be proactive in my own mind before my mind starts sabotaging and saying like, he doesn't love you anymore, or you're not good enough for him to pay attention to. Those are the things that my mind likes to go do and where that emotional need kind of tanks. So understanding the root cause of where that emotional need comes from is also important. And if anyone has an emotional need that they would like to share, or if you feel comfortable on what you journaled about, please feel free to leave it in the chat. We're all here to support each other. Okay, my coffee's not too hot. Other than that, how is everyone doing this week? Just on a general basis. I feel like I haven't seen you all in a long time, but it's only been a week. And this past couple weekends have been so busy for me that it just feels like I'm losing days so quickly. But it hasn't been that long. It's literally been a week. So how are we doing? I have recently discovered that after a big, I reached a goal, I hit a milestone, I did something great, the after effects of wanting to give up after that are so much stronger. So I have had 2 videos in the last month get over 1 million views, and that's what I would consider like viral, right? So I have, something going viral on my YouTube channel. I have something going viral on my Facebook page. I have something going viral on my TikTok. So in every place, I'm like doing really good. And in that same moment, I had this feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm not doing good enough. I want to give up. And that I was like, I had to take a step back and say like, wait, what are you talking about? You've been working so hard to get to this point, and you're doing it. You're doing the thing that you wanted to do. So why all of a sudden do I have this urge to like give up and quit after hitting these milestones? And that was something really interesting that I had to dive into. And I'm still kind of trying to figure out and process where those emotions are coming from, and this feeling of being overwhelmed. And it could be that the expectation I had of getting to that point or doing those things didn't meet the reality of what it means to do that. And now that I have met those times and goals and milestones, it's something I have to objectively look at now in the future. I've put in so much work and effort and time, and it's not going to blow up immediately. It's not going to be life-changing to have a viral video. So maybe my goal there isn't as, I shouldn't prioritize it as strong like that. But that's kind of where we have those motivators in the back of our head, where we keep that kind of like, oh my gosh, but this could happen if we just get one viral video, right? That's what all the advice, to keep going. It just takes one video. It just takes one video, and then you'll get 50,000 subscribers. You'll make $1,000 off of one video. But that's not how it works. So why do we keep telling people that advice? It's consistency that works. And the consistency is key with everything, with your marketing, with your personal goals, with your workout goals, with your health goals. Everything is about consistency. And yet we tend to look at these like peaks as the success, as the bar that we're reaching for continuously. And it's really hard to stop. It's really hard to just focus on the consistency of what you're doing and not those little peaks of like, I did so well here. I threw a great party here. But that doesn't define your friendships, right? It's like a drug. You never get the same feeling after the first one. That's 100%. And it is a dopamine hit. That's what all of that is. It's dopamine. It is a drug in your brain. And that's why social media can become so addicting. And that's why creators like myself can get addicted to social media, because every time you're checking comments or checking your follower count, you get a notification about, someone viewed your video. You're obsessively checking how many views you got. You just posted it yesterday and you're still looking to refresh the analytics. Just like selling. Yes. Did this one sell? You're looking at your spreadsheets. You're looking at your cost breakdowns. Everything can be addicting in its own way. And it's important that we can recognize it from the back end and see those behaviors and say, oh my gosh, wait, hold on. I need to take a step back and reassess how everything is showing up in my life. What is the consistency versus what is the dopamine seeking behaviors that I'm going after? You're always hope and the thrill of the fun. Yes. So that's a big thing that I've seen with how resellers can get death piles, because the shopping part of their business is the fun part. That's why they got into it. That's why they liked it. But it has to be balanced with all the other things. But those things aren't usually the fun things. Those aren't the things that people like to do. So they tend to get thrown to the wayside. They don't get prioritized as much. And we end up going shopping and shopping and shopping, and then our house is full of things because the shopping is so much fun, but we didn't actually do the things we needed to do to process all of the shopping. And then it becomes this overwhelming death pile, and then you can't do anything about it because now it's even more of an exacerbated issue. I've always said, so the saying, your house and your home is a reflection of your mental health. So if your house is messy, then your mental health is messy. I stand by that, but the caveat is people tend to believe that cleaning your house will now clean your brain and like fix your mental health, but that's not how it works. You can't externally fix something inside. It's just going to get messy again. You're just going to do it again. You have to fix this before you can fix the external, before you can expect to have a clean house all of the time. And no one can have a clean house all of the time unless you do not live in your house. Let's just be clear. I'm sorry. Unless you have the time, energy, and physical ability to clean your house all of the time, stop expecting your house to be clean all the time. Just like a viral video, you were lucky, but getting another there's a heart right in front of half of your words. Okay, just like a viral video, you were lucky, but getting another fantastic video. So the thing about viral videos with creators too is they have control. You have control over what you make. And there's this constant narrative of, oh, well, if you just do this, you'll hold the attention span more. If you can tweak this part of your video, then people will watch it longer. And then the algorithm, you're trying to trick the algorithm to get your video pushed out. It's your thumbnail image, it's your title, it's your description, it's your content that you're making. It's so many things that we're told we have control over as creators that make us obsess over what we're creating. Who am I talking to? I'm talking to my YouTube followers and I'm talking to my TikTok followers. So there's a chat that you guys can't see and there's a chat that you guys can't see. So I apologize, but we're going to have to live with it until I can figure out how to connect everything with streaming services. But mostly I'm talking to myself because, you can give the world life advice, but really this is things that I know I need to hear. What else is there? What were we talking about? Emotional needs. Emotional needs are so difficult because they're never the same and they really, they're going to keep showing up the same. Just in different ways. So understanding and all of our problems come from our childhood. That's the big issue that a lot of us don't realize. It's like everything stems from what kind of childhood environment we were in and what happened to us when we were developing. Like when all of those neural pathways decided to connect, what was going on in those moments. And so a lot of mine deal with the nurturing, right? The lack of nurture from my father and the abusive nature of my main nurturer, who was my stepmom. And understanding how those manifest in your adult life explains so much about literally every single problem you will ever have. I had the abandonment issues, so that shows up in my relationships. I have issues with needing to prove myself to people, so that shows up in my work and lets my employers take advantage of me a lot of the time because I'll stay and I'll put in 60 80 hours a week just trying to prove that I'm good enough, but they don't care. If any employer is there saying absolutely, we want you to work more, we like your hustle, we like your grind, whatever, they're still gonna if they need to let you go, if as soon as you become a problem, you're done. And that's what happened. That was a pretty pivotal moment, is when I got laid off from an employer that I absolutely loved. I thought I loved that job. I committed everything to that job. I gave it my all. I went above and beyond. I exceeded expectations all around. I created a marketing department out of nothing. And then what happened? I started advocating for myself and asking for more raises and standing up for myself. And then they let me go because it was cheaper and easier to go find a younger, hungrier person who was green in their field that they could manipulate more and stick them in there and see what they could do for the next 3 years. And that's what they did. And that's what they keep doing. But that job triggered that need in me to like prove myself, and that need I had to be good at something. And those little like dangle the carrot on the stick moments were what pushed me forward, and were those dopamine hits of I finally got through to them. I finally created a presentation that like resonated with them. They finally understand what I was saying. You know, that little piece of whatever I was doing, I had control over. You know, I just had to fix one more thing. It was that I'm broken, I have to do something different. That's how that issue shows up a lot. And it still shows up, even with all of the therapy, even with all of the, you know, understanding, the self-awareness, the emotional intelligence, the work, the psychology books. Even after all of that, the issues don't go away. We're never fixed, right? That's all of us just want to be fixed. We just want to be less broken. But we're never not going to deal with those things. We are just aware that they exist now, so we can adapt our behavior before it happens. Like, we can just be more cognizant of it and understand how to navigate the world better instead of not having those issues at all. Like, we're never not going to have the issues that we have. We just have to learn how to adapt with them moving forward, which honestly really sucks. It really sucks because I didn't do this to myself. I'm not the one that created trauma for myself. So why am I the one who has to live and deal with it? Because I dang well know that the people who created this for me, it's no skin off their back. They don't live with the nightmares of what they did to me, because to them it was normal. To them it was like, that was their issues manifesting in me. I'm trying to see your whole comment, but there's like a heart, right? Okay, there we go. Son of a biscuit. I broke it. I broke everything. You said something and then it may have retracted, but you were talking about people pleasing. And yes, people pleasing is so difficult to get over. But once you take that first step into saying no, or to like reclaiming your own protection of your energy and like stopping the outward like scope, right? You're prioritizing everyone else but yourself. And when you take that first step of saying like, actually, I don't want to do that. It's terrifying. First of all, it is so scary to like reclaim your own power and be the protector of your energy. But once you do it, then you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad. It didn't, you know, the world didn't end. It wasn't as negative of an experience as I thought it was going to be. Then it becomes easier to do it again and again and again. And then you get to where I'm at and you're just like, I don't care about anybody's feelings unless, you know, there's someone I care about. But even the people that I care about, I am a straightforward, you know, like, I don't say things just to make people happy anymore. I am objectively just going to tell people how it is, because I spent way too much time and energy tiptoeing around people's feelings and not telling them either what they needed to hear from me or what they were asking to hear from me. And that caused them more harm. You know, it was, if someone was like, what do you think of my significant other? You know, what do you think of my XYZ? And I've heard it so many times where people are like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you broke up with them. I hated them from the start. 3 years later, like, where was that? I thought everybody loved them. I thought everybody was like, I thought I was the crazy one for thinking that they were, bad for me. So, and there's a way to do it, like, don't just go out telling people like, hey, your boyfriend sucks. Hey, your girlfriend sucks. Like, that's not how you do it. It's a matter of linguistic, delicacy, but being straightforward and honest with people and saying like, oh, hey, like, that was kind of a red flag that I noticed within your partner. Like, what's going on with that? Do you want to talk about it? That was something that was strange. I'm not familiar with, that kind of dynamic. Like, is that healthy? Could you talk about more how that makes you feel? And that's the segue into those conversations, is not pointing out, even if, like, okay, let's go to, you don't like someone's outfit. Again, never tell somebody if they are happy with what they are doing that you don't like it. It is a question of how you are diving into how it makes them feel. You're not going to say, oh, I don't like the way that outfit looks on you. That outfit looks bad. How does that outfit make you feel? Are you fully confident in that outfit? Like, there's a little bit of a tear in the back, but, if you love it, go for it. You don't have to like it. That's the whole thing. It's the only person you have to live with is yourself. Even if you don't like someone else's partner, even if you don't like their outfit, their job, their life choices, like, you don't have to live with it, unless it's, of course, your partner. But that's a whole nother story. But I have gone on and rambled for a full 28 minutes now. So I hope that we had a lot of insight that we shared here. I am excited for day 5. Is day 5 or day 7 when we move on to a new chapter? Day 7. Okay, so day 7 we'll move on to a new chapter. But I love these morning chats. They help me get out of bed. I'm hoping that they help everybody else start their day off on the right foot. Thank you, Ingrid, for being here. Thank you, my TikTok followers, for being here. And I will see you all next